Well, a warm welcome to you all. This is Carnivore Conversations Live with JJ and Eric. I'm JJ. I am a life coach and I eat mostly meat.
And I'm a novelist and I eat beef, bacon, butter, eggs, and coffee.
Yeah, and that's been it this week, hasn't it? We had
I've-
hog log, maybe.
We had the pork tenderloin, and I did have a couple of LaCroix that were flavored, but I don't remember the flavor. So I got to put a comment in here.
Yes, go ahead. We would love to hear from you. Where are you from? And are you carnivore, ketovore, keto, just exploring this way of eating? And how long, if you are keto or carnivore or ketovore, how long have you been doing it? I would love to know. It amazes me how long a lot of our viewers have been doing carnivore.
Yeah, and one of the articles we talk about today says it's not possible.
That's right. It's never possible.
So just so you know, if you've done it a long time, you actually haven't. Hi, Lisa.
Hello, Lisa. So you've been doing beef, butter, bacon, eggs predominantly for about 3 weeks.
I had to change my ways because I was having dairy, and it was in the form of carnivore bread, carnivore flatbread, which was based upon cottage cheese and eggs.
Mm-hmm.
But in the cottage cheese are carbs. And because I was having so much of it, I was having a lot of carbs.
Yeah.
And apparently a fair amount of inflammation from those carbs or the dairy itself. Who knows?
Who knows? Yeah, I can see you look thinner today. I haven't looked at you really today.
Pretty soon I'm going to look like Voldemort. Oh, sorry. He who must not be named.
Will not be, shall not. I don't
Yeah.
know. So, hello from Iowa. Hello, Tracy. Hello.
So I've modified my carnivore to be much stricter, and it has been beneficial. I don't know if this is the reason, but I've had, on the whole, some better sleep recently, and I like that. Now, I don't wake up feeling energetic or rested or good even. But we've done a lot of physical labor recently, so the body has to recover from that.
Yes, it does.
Yep.
And then you do exercise on top of that.
I did a hard leg workout just before lunch. And it was good because I said, this pain that I'm feeling, I am lucky to feel it. Because the alternative is not being able to do it at all.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
So you're a carnivore for 19, 20, 30 months, 50 million years? What is
20 months and a half.
Yep.
20 months, yes. And my diet has not changed a lot over this week. Nothing is very new. I have had, I went out to eat with my friend. I'm trying to remember what I had.
But in general, what is your carnivore diet composed of?
I usually have beef at least once a day, usually twice, but generally once minimally. And we do have pork. I had a stuffed chicken breast yesterday. The cordon bleu stuffed with bacon wrapping around it. Bacon wrapping. And I haven't had that for about a year because I don't tend to eat a lot of chicken breast, but it just sounded good. I'm not having a serious beef aversion like you can have, but I did not want beef yesterday. And I made tenderloin roast for dinner and I did not want it at all. So today I am fasting because that sign of not wanting beef makes me think maybe I'm a little overfed at the moment.
That could be.
Yeah. So I might have dinner. I'm not saying I'm fasting through dinner, but I am fasting a good 24-hour fast, it seems.
But your carnivore allows artificial sweeteners? Is that true?
It does, but oh yeah, it does. I was going to say not regularly, but Element. I do have the flavored Element every day.
And what about dairy?
I allow dairy.
Yeah, you allow all dairy?
What dairy
Like, would you have a latte?
Well, I don't drink lattes.
Like, would you put, yeah, I guess that's true. But you don't hold just to like hard cheeses or something like
No, no, I don't. I don't really have heavy cream too often.
that. Mm-hmm.
I will have cheese probably 5 days a week, but it's like cheese as a condiment. It's like 20 grams of cheese. I've actually done the weighing, and 20 grams of cheese. And I'll have that as dessert, a real sharp cheddar. But yeah, I did have an omelet this week when I ate out. That was what I had.
Because you don't really like eggs.
It's not that I don't like them. I know I kind of said that on a previous video. It's just I'm not moved to eat eggs. And since I don't eat breakfast.
You don't feel it.
No, I don't. I'm like, oh, I'll have a steak. I'll have a steak. I'll have a burger. So yeah, I'm not really moved to eat eggs. Although I have found that I like to have some hard-boiled eggs on hand if I do need to top off a meal.
Okay.
So I've been doing that lately, and also bacon to top off a meal. 2 meals a day, no snacking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the benefits that I've derived from carnivore has been fat loss is obviously one of them, but it wasn't the primary one. I've lost around 20 pounds of fat since I started, I think. I'd have to go look at my scale data on my dashboard to see. But that's actually pretty good. But my actual weight has not been that dramatic because I've definitely added muscle mass.
Yes.
Which you can attest to.
Holy cow. Yeah, you've never had these shoulders before.
I'm not going to do the Hulk out bit. I think that's too tired. Maybe I'll break it out in a little while, but not today.
No, but yeah, so you've never had these shoulders before.
And IBS erased by carnivore, which is such an amazing quality of life improvement that any of you out there who've dealt with it, it is just all of the arguments against carnivore that you read just don't matter.
It's been a quality of life improvement for me too.
For everybody, yeah. And I would say that on the whole, my reflux has also been gone, but I've had a little bit of issue recently. It might be eggs or I have a small hiatal hernia.
Yeah.
And so if I have kind of a full stomach and I'm doing physical work where I'm bending over or something, I might get a little reflux. And then we had some really fatty meat last week.
Oh my gosh, I forgot. I've got to talk about that.
Well, it gave me some reflux.
It did. It did.
Because it was too fat.
I tried a chuck roast done brisket style on our big green egg. Because a brisket is a big commitment. And in the past, when I've done 2 or 3, not a lot, my brisket has not been worth the time commitment. It's been like, oh, it's fine, it's good, whatever. But this chuck roast done brisket style was just, I think it took like 5 hours or something.
Can you back up and explain what brisket style is?
Oh, brisket style
because I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay. So basically, you're smoking it on the big green egg, low and slow.
Every time you say that, I think of Snoop.
I know. See, if this was a recorded video, you'd have to put a picture of him up.
Put him up.
So yeah, it's smoking it low and slow, letting it get a bark on it for the first couple hours or so till it hits about 170, I think it was. Then wrapping it in foil and letting it go up to about between 207 and 210.
That's not internal temperature.
Yeah, that's internal.
It is, really?
Yes,
that
because
hot.
It has to get that hot so that the collagen and the fat and all the fibrous tissue in there breaks down so that it's tender and juicy.
But how hot is the green egg then to do that?
It's about, mine usually runs about 250, which might even be a little too hot.
So that is kind of the low and slow area.
Yeah.
There. All right.
Yeah. But I thought it was incredible. And you liked it too, except for that it gave you reflux.
It was so fatty. I was so excited about that because I've been supplementing most of my meals with some butter. And it was really delicious.
Mm-hmm.
But then that night, I was up in the middle of the night going, oh, I don't think my stomach was ready for that much fat all at once.
So good.
Yeah, I would eat that every day.
I would do that. We should try it for lunch maybe at some point.
Yeah.
And then,
Well, knowing now, I could probably go into it and be a little more choosy about the pieces I eat.
mhm.
So that I think it's just my stomach's not adapted to that level. I'm not, as a carnivore, I'm like level 4 or 5, and I'm not up to that, level 7, level 8 carnivore yet.
No. But
I don't have enough experience points.
you've been doing the Bella steak and butter gal eats butter with your
Yes.
beef.
Right, because, well, I'm eating a lot of hamburger patties because it's fast, and I'm super disinclined to cook anything complicated. And I found a seasoning that helps, but then I just have a little bit of unsalted butter with every bite, and it kind of, something happens in the mouth that's actually kind of good.
Mhm.
So yeah, that's what I've been doing.
I've tried it a couple times too since you've been doing it. And mostly if it's a leaner cut, I've tried it, but also because I've been a little, again, not to your extent off beef, but a little like, it hasn't sounded as good to me as it usually does. So again, that's why I'm fasting today.
So then to finish up on our benefits, because it's always good to review this.
Yes.
Because when I was starting carnivore, I watched endless videos wanting to hear the benefits over and over and over again because I was trying to get my brain around it. And one of them was I was able to get off of my SSRI. And I wasn't having really bad side effects that were noticeable from the SSRI.
No.
I was having benefits from it, but I didn't like the idea of taking it. And so getting that out of my, because I don't want to take it for the next 50 years.
Mhm.
If I live to be 103, I don't want to be taking it that long. So really, really helpful to be able to get off of that. And when I made that transition, it was as if I was still taking it.
Yeah.
So that was a success.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm glad you had the SSRI when you had it, and it's great that you don't have to have it anymore.
And I grew up in a household of throat clearers and coughers.
Oh my goodness.
My dad admitted he was the most disgusting human who ever lived because he was constantly coughing and hacking and clearing his throat. And I've done that most of my adult life, but I think it's reduced by about 50%.
I think you're right.
And I think maybe in more, now, especially now that I've taken dairy out, I might have even hit another level of improvement on that. So slightly less phlegmy.
Nice. Nice.
And there might be some other benefits, but I'm not remembering what they are right now. So why don't you talk about your loads of benefits?
Sure. So for me, I have such a clearer brain. I always forget to talk about brain fog. And when I gave...
That's kind of ironic.
True. But when I forget to talk about it. When I was on gluten, the brain fog was horrible. Like really, really, really bad. So it's been better since I gave up gluten, but I have much more clarity than I did back then. Ability to focus and mood improvement, energy improvement. Mood is probably my favorite one.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
it's my favorite for you.
Yes. It's so awesome. But I've been able to reduce my hormone replacement therapy. The doses have gone down. I go back in a week or two, and it'll be interesting to see if there are any changes, because I think we're going to take it down even lower.
Okay.
My thyroid medication has been reduced by 50%. So again, like you said, it's just kind of nice to not have to take those things and prop ourselves up with it. And I have had, I'm trying to remember. 30 pounds. I'm up to 30 pounds now, weight loss.
You've locked that in?
It's locked. It's locked in.
What's amazing, I want to just point out, is that while you've lost 30 pounds on the scale, you've certainly gained muscle mass.
Oh.
So your actual fat loss is certainly more than 30 pounds.
That's probably true.
Yeah.
I'll have to see what it says when I go to the doctors. Yep. It'll be interesting. So yeah, that is wonderful. Like you say, it's not the best benefit, but it sure is great. I love it. My cellulite's gone. My allergies hugely reduced, usually non-existent. I have an occasional little itchy eye, but nothing major. And what we talked about, I think it was last week on the live, my bad sprained ankle 30-some years ago is greatly, greatly improved, where it used to ache me. See, the brain fog's gone.
Yeah.
Can't remember how to talk, but no. But it used to be almost aching regularly, like every day, almost constant. There was a bit of an ache, and the tendon would slip, and then it would be more of an acute pain, and I'd have to sort of get it back into place, and don't really have to deal with that right now. Yeah, it's pretty rare that it has a minor ache, and it's not even that big of a deal. So yeah, that's been a huge quality of life improvement as well, because I was beginning to think that I might have to have surgery on it at some point. And it was like one of those things where it's like, okay, I'm in my 50s. Do I do the surgery now when I'm younger, or do I hold off until it's like I can't live with it anymore? And I don't feel like I have to make that decision right now.
So if you've had any of these non-scale things especially, please let us know in the chat, or if you're watching us on replay, in the comments.
Yes.
Because we love to hear it. But most importantly is the people who may are thinking about carnivore, who come across this, love to see that kind of testimony to like reaffirm that it's okay to step in these waters. Carnivore seems crazy from the outside. You probably know that it does because you were probably on the outside and were like, that sounds crazy. And then you went into it and you started having these successes, these benefits, and now why would you want to quit?
So important. So important to remind ourselves too. To remind ourselves that makes me think, do we want to check in first and then I'll go into...
Sure, we can do that.
Let's check in with everyone.
Let's see. Let's banish my comment from this. Let's see here. Marla, hello from Emporia, Kansas. Been carnivore for 3 months, was ketovore for 2 months before that.
Oh.
So what made you want to switch to tighten it up to full carnivore? That's my question.
Yeah.
Let's see. Elva, hello from Texas. I have been doing carnivore for more than 3 weeks now. I have seen very little weight loss, but I have seen huge improvement in my sleep.
Keep on it, Elva. I know that the weight loss, the slow weight loss, here's the brain again. The slow weight loss can be a little frustrating. I didn't lose weight for a long time. I'm hoping yours is quicker, but just stay the course, because I'm 20 months in now. Like I said, I've lost 30 pounds. And if I didn't stay the course, I wouldn't be where I am now. So keep focused on those non-scale victories.
I think that's an excellent segue, actually, into this next item.
Oh, that is a good segue. Yes. I have shared that I've been working through the Road to Carnivore podcast by Joanne Ozug. I think it's Ozug. And she mentioned Gary Taubes in one of her episodes, many of her episodes. But this one specifically was about his keto book. I don't have the name of it right now, but the one that specifically focused on keto. She said that he talked about a personal insulin threshold. Now, in one of our videos last week, I talked about when I moved into the carnivore space, started fasting first and then moved into carnivore, my focus was on insulin and healing any insulin resistance that I had, and focusing on keeping my insulin levels low and allowing them to pulse through the day rather than being high and persistent. Now, what Gary Taubes says in this book, according to Joanne, is that our threshold is where we lose weight, and we don't know what it is, but at a certain level, you begin to lose weight. You're not in fat storage. Insulin causes us to store fat. Again, we need insulin to keep our blood sugars safe, in the safe range, yet it is a fat storage hormone. So if our insulin level, I'm going to make up a number. Let's say my insulin threshold is a 9. I need to be below a 9 in order to lose weight. And I don't know what's kicking it up higher. It could be that the cream in my coffee is bumping it up a little bit. Yes, it's fat. Yes, it also does cause some insulin, a small, little tiny bit of insulin raise. So if it's keeping me above 9, I can't lose. And that sweetened beverage, even if it's low calorie, might be having a cephalic insulin response that keeps me above that level 9. I might be at a 9.5 and I'm not going to lose. So I thought it was an interesting concept because we don't know what it is. And I think it's something we have to be conscious of. We don't know at what point we're going to lose weight. And also, she's 3 weeks in. It can take 3, 4, 5 weeks to totally deplete your glycogen in your liver.
Well, you can help that along through longer fasts.
Yes.
Of, eating window, or working out fasted.
That's true
which
too.
Early on is uncomfortable. It doesn't feel good.
Yeah.
Especially if you're still transitioning into keto, those workouts can feel absolutely dreadful, but they really do kick things forward. I like to do that because I'm a glutton for punishment. And I feel like you aren't doing it right if you're not suffering.
Yeah.
I'm working on it.
You've worked on that a lot. Yeah.
That's a lifelong
You've gotten better.
journey. Yeah.
You've gotten better. So we're not giving advice, but I actually want that to be sort of this hope of, oh, I'm not broken. Yeah. I'm just not there yet.
Like for me, one of the things that I expected from carnivore was my triglycerides to immediately go down and my HDL to go up. And so far, that hasn't been the case.
Yeah.
And so I get frustrated because why is everybody else getting this benefit, but I'm not? Well, there's some peculiarity of my particular dysregulated metabolism that I took 50 years breaking that it now is going to take a little bit longer to heal.
Yeah. And I like to watch the 2 Crazy Ketos, and they, in one episode a while back, they talked about how 6 and 7 years in, they are still seeing new benefits from doing keto. But again, the healing continues. You don't have control over it, but it keeps on keeping on.
Yeah.
Which is great.
Okay, let's see. What does Tracy say here? Carnivore-ish here and loving it. Just feels so good eating this way. Weight loss is so slow. My IBSD completely gone. I believe weight loss will come.
That's what I believed too. I believed that once my body was balanced and healed, it would come. Yeah. And I just hung on to that.
Well, once the IBS is gone, it's like, does it really matter? I mean, it'd be nice, but why would you ever want to go back to the foods that caused that? I don't know. Tell me about this podcast. This concept here.
Okay, so again, listening through to the Road to Carnivore podcast, I think there are 31, 32 episodes. I'm almost done. And in one of our episodes, it's titled Food Affection. Not infection, affection, AFFECTION. I was thinking affectation for a second, and I got a brain glitch. Affection. And she talks about how we tend to glorify foods that we can't have. Certain foods, not all of them. And especially you've talked about the holiday foods, right? We put them on this pedestal with nostalgia and warm feelings and but I want that caramel apple this fall. And we forget when we have this food affection, we forget to also remind ourselves about the downsides of that food. And I thought it was a really important concept to just have that distinguished in my mind and go, okay, that caramel apple. And that contributes to my allergies and my thyroid dysregulation and my cellulite and the weight gain. And just to remind myself of that, still to make a choice. She's big about making a choice and knowing that you have complete freedom. And I agree with her 100%, that you can choose that apple or not take it off the table completely, but to not just hold food in this positive, beautiful, nostalgic light.
Well, I totally agree because I suffer from this food nostalgia, food affection a lot. I don't really get a lot of cravings now that I'm doing a slightly tighter carnivore. I don't get sweet cravings, which surprised me.
Yeah.
But there's certain times of the year or the day where it sparks a sense memory of like, oh, this is hot dog. This is a hot dog day. It's the 4th of July. I should be having hot dogs and s'mores and root beer. And that's what actually sparks the desire to have the food, is because it's a tradition.
Yeah.
And all of the downstream consequences of eating that don't seem to matter to that part of my brain. It's not thinking that's going to make your gut explode and your anxiety flare and your reflux fire up. So is that supporting this point?
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
feel like I heard you correctly.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's reminding yourself of that. Again, you can choose to have a hot dog if you want.
You could just have the sausage, but it's not the same.
No. Yeah, the hot dog on a bun.
Yeah.
You can choose to do that, but just don't try to like pull the wool over your own eyes by just remembering only the good side.
Yeah. Before we get into these articles, I just want to ask people who are out there, on our lives, we generally go through 1 or 2 articles that are like news stories that are basically, they're talking about carnivore or keto, and then they ask an expert and a dietitian to pipe in. And we have a couple on tap, but I don't know if we should keep going through these because it's like they're all the same. And I don't want to spend a lot of time if you see me pop up a web page on the screen. If it's not the kind of content you want from me, we will skip it entirely. But while we wait for you to think about that and put that answer in the chat, let's go back to Elva. Her response was, I can't do fasting for a long time because I seem to have some gastric issues. I do have very sedentary routine. I will, however, do some exercise and take your suggestions seriously. Thank you.
And I do know fasting is not for everyone. And you're not a faster at this point either.
Not yet.
Yeah.
But the exercise that you do at the end of a fast doesn't have to be like what I would do, where it's just stupid.
No, you do not have to punish yourself.
Just a walk.
Yes.
Would go a long way.
Yeah.
And we know that because we've done so many CGMs, continuous glucose monitors, that even back before carnivore, if we had pasta and then did a long walk, it would flatten the blood sugar spike significantly. Not completely, and to a certain extent it just delayed it. But if you're fasted for, say, a 14-hour fast before eating, and at the end of that you did a half-hour walk, it would contribute to some glycogen depletion, which would help you along.
It absolutely would.
And it's good if you can get in nature, especially. Let's see, what's Lisa? I'm so jealous that you can do triple B and E. Bacon always makes me flare up. Yesterday was my 30 days carnivore, so of course I had to try reintroducing it. I had 6 pieces, felt great. My wrist got a little, next message, sore after work, but no biggie. I woke up this morning and could barely walk. I'll try again after 90 days in. Food sensitivities and those responses are so weird. And they're very individual.
Yeah. And
there's no explaining what protein is in the bacon that your immune system hates and mistakes it for something bad. But yeah, who knows? Maybe it'll clean up in time.
Congratulations on your 30 days, though,
that's
too.
Wonderful. Christina, have not been able to go past 3 days to see any benefit. 3 days of carnivore or fasting? I think you're saying carnivore. Well, it might be a case of maybe going straight carnivore is not the right transition. If it's that difficult, going into a slower, more gradual food elimination strategy might work better.
Yeah, I know I've seen some experts talk about even just starting with breakfast. Breakfast is carnivore. And then expanding from there, breakfast and lunch.
Yeah. It's hard. It's not. And
when you're not seeing the benefits yet, we get it. We get it. yeah.
See, Tracy says, I also can't eat bacon. It
Ah.
causes inflammation. I eat steak mostly, egg yolks, and rarely chicken. Well, rarely chicken is better than rare chicken.
I knew you were going to go there.
Did you?
Yes.
What was that? Was it Categories?
Oh, yeah, I think it was.
It was Categories and some other game.
Ridiculous.
There was a game where we destroyed everybody just by virtue of having been married a long time.
No, even when we weren't, though. Early days, we could destroy everyone.
And it was because we understood how our brains worked. And we could arrange words in such a way that would lead to the right answer every single time. In ways that were spooky to other people.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm going to dive into the articles. Nobody said no, so I'm taking that as consent.
You're along on this ride.
Yep. If you're enjoying the live, please give us a like, and always try to subscribe if you haven't already. So let's flip over to the browser, and we've got, what is this title? Let me clear this out of here.
We've got too many
control
too many
screens.
Windows. Yeah.
And trying to, I don't know why this is zoomed in.
It's too big.
There we go. Why your body won't be the same after the carnivore diet. And he's eating ribs.
Mm-hmm.
But I noticed there's not a whole glob of barbecue sauce on that. So that's good. But I'm suspicious of what rub is on there.
Yeah.
So we're not going to go through this whole thing because this is too laborious. But however, the carnivore diet doesn't include fruits, vegetables, nuts, or seeds. Because the carnivore diet excludes these healthy plant-based foods, it's pretty much a zero-carb diet with calories coming from protein and mostly saturated fat. That's true.
Mm-hmm.
But, I mean, they're already starting to set up what they don't like about
right.
this. It talks about Joe Rogan. Oh, let's see here. It's very straightforward. Carnivore diets eat meat, fish, eggs, and dairy products that are low in lactose, like butter and some hard cheeses, fruits, vegetables, beans, legumes, nuts. I don't know why they have to say this is off limits, because carnivore is like self-defining. But what you can't have is ice cream. So let's see what are they. While a meat lover may think this sounds appealing, imagine sticking to this plan day in, day out. You're not allowed any cheats or treats. Well, what diet allows
I was just going to say.
So being a carnivore dieter means getting up favorites like ice cream, French fries, and pizzas forever. Oh my God. It also means saying no to delicious things that nutritionists recommend eating, like greens, fruits, and whole grains. Oh my goodness. Let's just skip down through this stuff. Oh, eating that much meat also has some negative environmental impacts. I am so sick of talking about this. I'm just going to say this just absolutely plainly. I have nothing but contempt for this point in every single one of these articles. I have nothing but contempt.
I just don't like how they only talk about the carbon footprint of that.
It's boring, it's tedious, it's irrelevant.
Yeah.
I'm going off.
You are going off.
It's
been a while.
I suddenly got really hot. Oh my God.
Oh. There's a carbon footprint to every type of food, unless you're maybe by berry gathering there isn't, though.
No, probably not.
Yeah.
I'm not going to go through all this. This is quite a long article. What?
You won't experience the benefits of grains on the carnivore diet. Let me say, if I haven't stated it enough, that gluten nearly killed me. Like, it was not good for me. But what I have noticed as I've gone more and more carnivore, that if I eat any grains at all, my blood sugar spikes to a crazy, crazy number. Any grain. That's why I told my family at this last year that I'm not eating. Don't buy me the buns anymore. Don't do that, because as kind as it was, my blood sugar cannot handle it. I can handle ice cream, real sugared ice cream, better than I can handle grains. Anyway.
Well, you're not going to get any of those healthy grains on carnivore. You may believe grains unhealthy and contain harmful anti-nutrients, right? That's all good.
Mm-hmm.
This isn't unique to the carnivore diet, though. Other diets like Whole30 and Paleo claim the same thing. The thing is, it's not really true. So I'm sorry, JJ.
Mm-hmm.
The expert doesn't care about your CGM. They don't care about your brain fog. They don't care about your inflammation. It's just simply not.
And I know Dr. Georgia Ede, with the book Change Your Diet, Change Your Mind, she's not the only one who has talked about this, but that grains and legumes tend to be the worst offenders for things like mental health and gut issues.
Well,
he's like, all right, let's move on.
Bad news for all of us. The carnivore diet may lead us to become nutrient deficient.
Oh.
And what is the nutrient they're worried about? Fiber.
Darn, no fiber.
Yep, you got to get all that fiber in there so you can use a scouring pad on your intestines and really make it irritating.
On your already inflamed intestines.
All that saturated fat you consume on the carnivore diet will increase your risk of heart disease. This is such an old way of thinking about it. Let's just move on.
Even our old antiquated systems have quietly rescinded that.
Uh-oh. Bad LDL blood cholesterol.
Mm-hmm.
Take a drink. But don't actually, because alcohol's not on carnivore.
No.
All right. It's something about high blood pressure. Does it think blood pressure might go up on the carnivore diet? I have never once heard of anyone saying that their blood pressure went up on. If you're in this and you've had your blood pressure go up or down on carnivore, let us know.
Well, so mine did, but let me explain. Mine went up for a little while because with my thyroid medication, I started to go hyperthyroid. So I reduced my thyroid medication and my blood pressure went down. So it wasn't really carnivore's fault. I mean, carnivore healed me, which made my medicine create high blood pressure.
Carnivore diet could increase your cancer risk. This is about nitrates. Let's just skip this. Let's.
No, I'm going to say it.
No, hold on. Let me wait. Just wait. You've got to wait.
I'm waiting.
I've lost control of this.
That's what I'm waiting for?
No, hold on.
I'm holding.
I can't return to our faces. Here. No, that's not it. Wait. Our faces. There it is. Okay.
Oh my gosh.
Wait.
I've got to do the woman fan my eyes thing.
Okay. You go. I've got to figure out what happened to many of my windows. Here we.
All right. Okay. So again, listening to Road to Carnivore podcast, and incidentally, she gives all of the notes around all this in her podcast. So I don't know the notes, but she does. And she said that nitrates, we know that nitrates occur in veggies. I think I've heard that forever, that even if your bacon doesn't say nitrate, if it has celery salt or celery juice in it, that's a nitrate. So it was no shock. But I heard something around the measurements. And Joanne said that where a piece of bacon might contain 5 units, and I don't remember the units, but 5 units of nitrates, a serving of spinach contains 500 nitrates. Or was it 100? I don't remember now. But it was 100 or 500 units of nitrate. And we don't hear about the dangers of spinach and nitrates. So I'd never heard the numbers before. I wish I could remember them exactly, but it was literally 5 and 100 or 500. Either one is crazy.
Yeah. So the point is the nitrates in the bacon, in the sausage or whatever are an irrelevant concern.
Are an irrelevant concern. And if you're really concerned, be concerned about that spinach you're eating.
I know Dr. Barry's talked about the nitrate thing
Mhm.
a million times because he has contempt for that
Mhm.
issue, and I found it rather convincing. So
Yeah.
let's check in. Let's see.
Ooh.
Wealthy T says carnivore means staying healthy and living longer.
Yeah.
And also that
Mm.
my blood pressure went down
Thank you,
on
Wealthy
carnivore.
T.
Well, mine did too.
Oh, yeah.
I test very high in any medical setting. And by very high, the top number might be 130, might be 140, because as soon as they put the cuff on me, I'm afraid of what the number is going to be. And my heart rate goes up, and then my blood pressure goes up. And then I tell the doctor, at home, it's perfect. It's 117/75 or whatever. And then I've actually gotten to the point now, before any such appointment, I do a week of at-home tests, and I take the results and I slam it down, and I'm like, there. And then they're like, well, I don't know if your at-home blood pressure cuff is calibrated right. I'm like, yeah, but since carnivore, even though my blood pressure is still elevated under those settings, it's more likely to be 125 over something. So I take that to mean that overall, my blood pressure readings are telling me something close to the truth.
We have a Wisconsinite in the house too. Hello, Sarah.
Hi, Sarah.
Hello.
Jacqueline, JJ, were you on T3, T4 medication, or both? I've just come off of T3 completely after 20 years after going carnivore.
Wonderful.
I'd love to drop my T4 too.
So I'm currently on Armour Thyroid and have been, which contains T3 and T4. My doctor keeps talking about tweaking it, possibly. My reverse T3, I believe, has been running high. So he's thinking he might have to go one route or the other, but we haven't made that move yet. I see him in a couple weeks. I'm going to bring it up again. I'm curious. But my reverse T3 is still within range, but it's high in the range.
That's incredible, though, that you can go carnivore and be able to stop medications that otherwise were a lifelong routine, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Jacqueline, how long have you been on carnivore? How long did it take to get that result?
Amazing.
Sarah from Wisconsin says, my blood pressure went down also, and my blood work is now perfect.
Beautiful.
Love to hear it.
Beautiful.
Where in Wisconsin are you? We are somewhere kind of between Milwaukee and Lake Geneva, closer to Lake Geneva, probably, what, 15 minutes from here?
About 15.
We're a bit north of that in Burlington area.
Yeah.
Let's see. That's the end of our comments so far.
I had a train of thought.
I am so hot. Can you hand me one of those?
Oh, yeah.
That article made me it made my blood pressure go up. Plus, it's warm here in Wisconsin today.
Oh, Tracy raises goats, so her blood pressure. Go ahead, pull it.
That's funny. Go ahead.
So my blood pressure does get a little high sometimes.
From the goats.
Oh, me and my daughter love goats. They're so cute, etc. I don't see us getting them, though, because of that purpose. Although we could so use them on the new property to keep down the undergrowth.
Yeah.
Holy cow. Goatscaping?
But I remember on one of Carrie's infinite lives or videos on Homestead How, he was asked about his goats, and he said, I despise our goats.
He did.
And I asked him about it, and he said it's because they escape all the time. And he got male goats, so they're of no value at all. They don't generate anything.
And we have the romantic notion around some sort of animal or chicken or something on the new property.
A chicken.
Just one chicken. But we also know that it's a daily chore, and we're not ready for that, yo. And we like to travel a little bit in the winter, and so I don't think we'll be getting any goats soon.
I don't think we'll be getting any livestock, probably, because my job basically now is a groundskeeper. I mow and I mow and I mow, and then as soon as it's done, I have to start over again.
Oh, we've had a lot of rain here in
Yeah.
Wisconsin this season, which has been great because we've been a little droughty the last couple of years. And by this time, usually you're not having to mow so much by this time of summer. And no, it just keeps growing. The grass and the paths, encroaching branches and weeds and vines. It's a lot.
I've developed a good tan, and I've gotten a lot of natural vitamin D production. And because I'm carnivore, I seem to have developed almost an immunity to the sun.
Yeah.
Which is crazy, because when I first heard carnivores saying they don't get sunburned, I was like, I just don't believe that. I can't understand the mechanism for that, so therefore it can't be true. And, you know, like a lot of men, if I don't understand it, it can't be true. But then it happened to me, and I still don't understand it, but it apparently is true.
Yeah, and burn was...
Oh, yeah.
You would try to stay out of the sun as much as possible, and you'd still get burnt.
Have any of you developed immunity to the sun? Now, if it's completely an untanned, unexposed part of my skin, like my legs were earlier this year, yeah, a little pink. I got a little pink, but then that faded, and then it kind of, my legs became armored against the sun as well.
Ooh.
We're getting a call.
The car's done.
Yeah. Jacqueline, I started October 22nd. I've had some major blips, binge eating disorder, but it's getting better and better. One day I'll nail it for good.
Well, we are both October 2022 together, because that was my start date.
Was it? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we've definitely had blips.
Oh, yeah.
I've had probably worse blips because she's generally more disciplined around food.
Yeah.
I tend to be much more bingey, but I never had anything close to an eating disorder around it. Well, I'm glad to hear that. And I think we've always said that carnivore is kind of self-correcting, because you do it, you start to get the benefits, and then if you go off the wagon for a holiday or something, you lose the benefits, and now you can see the difference.
Yeah.
And I don't know what it is about human psychology. Losing something is more powerful, more motivating than gaining something. So you can start to gain back some health, but when you have health and you lose it, it's worse. And so then you go like, oh, I got to get back on to carnivore. And each time that's happened, where I've kind of drifted and I started to get the consequences, it's brought me back. And now I'm so aware of the consequences, I just keep coming back and trying to stay true, because it's just not worth it.
And that's what I found. We were talking about M&Ms yesterday.
Yeah.
And earlier on in my journey, I had M&Ms. And I was like, oh, I didn't have negative health consequences, but it just the taste wasn't worth it. I was like, these aren't even that good.
I have found that with, after long stretches of very tight carnivore, of having some of those outside foods, of going, wow, that doesn't even taste really kind of like food to me. There's something extremely false about the highly processed stuff that you can then detect once your palate has been reaccustomed to what actual food tastes like. Yeah,
it's kind of a strange thing, because you think it's going to be so hard to say, oh, no more peanut M&Ms. Here's my nostalgia. Yeah. It reminds me of my father and going to my grandma's and blah, blah. And it was like, So it's not a forcing thing. It's like, oh, I don't really even want that anymore.
Lisa says, just started an electrolyte I bought at Walmart. $23 and no flavor. Trace Concentrace. Oh, that's the brand.
Yeah.
Trace Concentrace. Great so far. Well, that's good to know.
Thanks for the heads up on that. That's interesting.
I've been doing the Element an unflavored, which it's a tough go. I figured out a way to do it. I drink it extremely concentrated and very fast.
But this is cheaper than Element.
Oh,
Now,
way.
I love Element
Yeah.
flavors. Like, I really love the flavors. But if you're going naked,
yeah.
get the cheaper ones.
Yeah, I agree. We'll have to check that out.
Yeah.
Golf Addict. Hi, how are you? On day 13 of Carnivore, and I lost 16 pounds. Day 13? And feeling great. This is more than I expected. I know it will slow down, but I'm gonna go full bore for 90 days, reassess, and then go 6 months. Congratulations, Golf Addict. You just made a huge amount of enemies among the people who haven't lost anything.
Yes.
But this can happen.
Yes.
And it's hard for me with my glasses off to see your profile, but I'm assuming you're male. That might be a benefit.
Holy cow.
That does tend to happen for us men. But that is amazing. Keep going.
Congratulations. That is awesome. I did my math, and from when I started Carnivore in 2022 to now, it's been 20 months, and my average is 1.4 pounds a month.
Okay, so in the olden days, they would say you don't want to lose more than 2 pounds per week, which was also just kind of a made-up thing that somebody just said one day, and then the whole industry said, oh, we'll just accept that as true. But 13 days in 16 pounds is more than a pound a day.
Yeah.
That is amazing.
And we know there's probably a lot of inflammation and water weight there, but it doesn't matter. Like, amazing.
Yes, Golf Addict.
Amazing.
Golf Addict. I'm interested to know if your golf game gets better.
Ooh.
You golfed with me a few times.
Yeah.
I was never any good. Didn't really have any formal training on it. But what happened to me back, I was much younger when I golfed, I would get so angry because I just have this extraordinary destructive competitive thing where you have low talent and high competitive spirit. It's not a good recipe. What's wrong with these clubs?
You used to really, you looked angry when you were hitting the ball too.
Yeah.
Like, you would just.
I was never a slam my golf club around the thing. I was able to contain
You're
that.
not like that.
But
except with the hoe.
The garden hoe. The garden hoe.
Oh.
If you've ever seen an episode of Tom and Jerry where Jerry steps on the rake and the garden hoe one after the other, in my parents' place, they had this outbuilding where all of those tools were kept. And I was out there looking for something, and the garden hoe had been leaned in an inappropriate place. And I actually stepped on it. It was leaning against the wall, and it did the slam me in the head thing. And I lost my mind. I wish that I had video of it, because I took that thing and my intent was it needed to be destroyed and not just broken. It needed to be destroyed on an atomic level. It needed to be destroyed with fire. And for whatever reason, I slammed it on the closest object I could see, which was an easy chair, this old dusty green thing that I don't know why they had kept. And I'm telling you, if you smash a garden hoe onto a cushion, it doesn't do anything. Just poof, dust, poof, dust. And it was so impotent, so absolutely futile that after about 3 or 4 of these blows, I just fell apart laughing so hard. It was therapeutic.
I was not there for this. I've only heard the tale.
But please, it's a garden hoe. Oh my God. It is hot, and I'm feeling like we've done a good job with this live.
Oh my goodness.
If you've liked it, please give us a thumbs up.
Mm.
If you've enjoyed it, please subscribe. We're getting close to 1,400 subscribers.
Wow.
We may have crossed it already. I don't
Which,
know.
by the way, thank you, Carrie from Homestead How, for shouting us out as well. We so appreciate that.
Yep.
I so appreciate the work that he does for the community, and his support is just amazing.
Hey, we got Golf Addict says, yes, I'm a retired first responder, 59 years old, suffered severe PTSD, type 2 diabetes, bad arthritis in both knees, A1C up to 7.5, was 5.8 last year, want to lose 70, 80 pounds. You are on the right track.
You are with all of it. I'm so excited for you. I have a friend from high school who is a first responder, and so I know it's a tough job. Very.
Oh, yeah,
Katie.
I know who you're talking about. Yeah.
I said a name again. Dang.
But yeah, you just doxed Katie. So all of the 10 million Katies out there,
it could be you.
It could be one of them.
So yeah, I'm so appreciative of what you do and excited for you.
Yeah, I would be very interested as time goes on if carnivore and being in keto helps with the PTSD. We've mentioned many times on here Dr. Chris Palmer and Dr. Georgia Ede both have books. One's Change Your Diet, Change Your Mind is Dr. Ede, and Brain Energy is Dr. Palmer. Both of them use ketogenic diets for all sorts of mental health issues that can be fairly intractable. And they're always linked in our show notes for our main videos because it was so important to my life that I just want to continue to share that. It's tough. And it's tough for everybody around you. But as you make progress on this, you'll be an example and you can change lives all around you with this. So keep going. Yeah. We love seeing it.
Yep.
So I think it's time for us to sign off.
It is, yeah.
I need to change my shirt.
Because you're too hot.
I'm so hot. We publish new videos every Wednesday and Sunday at 8 a.m. Central Time, and we go live at a random time on Fridays.
We scheduled it today, though,
We did schedule it
just
45 minutes in advance. And we will try to do that more as we go forward. But yeah, stay on carnivore. If you're watching this in the comments, please feel free to let us know where you're at and the benefits you've derived. It's wonderful for us to see that, but also for other people who come along to the videos who are maybe new to carnivore or thinking about it. It is wonderful for them to be able to see those testimonies.
Yep. Thank you so much for tuning in, and you all have a great weekend as well.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye.